So that knife on the table there, I already have a video on. This is the Boker Plus Tech Tool 1 in carbon fiber. And so I can't remember when I did this, but there's a video here previously of the Tech Tool carbon fiber by Boker. It's a kind of, I guess, hybrid, you would say, slip joint. So it's got a little bit of a classical, traditional vibe to it, but it also has those carbon fiber scales and pocket clip, glass breaker, things that you normally do not find on stuff like GEC. I think this was a Sandvik steel that was on this. I don't remember exactly. So I picked up this recently. This is the Cold Steel Lucky 1. There's two versions of this. There's the Lucky 1, which is a single blade, and then there is the original Lucky that has two opposing blades. It's kind of a muskrat design. One is plain edge and one is fully serrated. So compared to this Boker Plus Tech Tool, you can tell it is similar in length, but the handle isn't as wide, and then the overall profile, it's not a stick either, and it is lighter. We'll get into that as well. So yeah, I got this a while ago. Can't even remember when I got this, but I did a video quite a while ago on this, and this is the Lucky 1, which they've had out for some time. Cold Steel has had this out for a while, and the Lucky was, I think, the first one that came out, and this is the second version, which is a single blade, which I kind of prefer. I don't really find the fully serrated blade that useful, so I think that this is a better option in my mind. And it has a different steel as well, as we'll get into. The Lucky original with the two-bladed opposing muskrat style had CTS XHP, which Cold Steel has been using on many of their knives recently, including their Recon series and Code 4s. But this here is not CTS XHP. Let me get that to focus in there. This here is S35VN. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that's what's printed on the blade there. So yeah, this is S35VN, so it's even, in theory, a better steel. CTS XHP from Cold Steel has seemed to be performing pretty well from what people have been saying, but S35VN is, yeah, it's a premium steel. And it's not always what we see in traditional knives. If you look at a lot of traditional knives like GECs, we have 1095 carbon steel, or 440C with their GEC line, and the super steels, as far as that goes, like Queen is still working in them, but as we know, Queen has some quality control issues that have been going on for a few years at least. And so yeah, this is not only a super steel, but it's also very high quality. While we have this Tom's Choice barrel out, I'll just give you a look here. It's about also the same length as a number 15 GEC. A little bit shorter, but it's very similar in profile. Of course, again, it is thinner, because this is a very thin knife. It does not have these brass, or in this Tom's Choice Barlow's case, steel liners. These are just, instead of really covers, these are really just scales. These carbon fiber these carbon fiber handles, they're essentially scales instead of covers on top of liners, which makes it very light and very thin. So yeah, about the same length as a Tom's Choice Barlow. And this particular Tom's Choice Barlow actually has an interesting story behind it. Maybe I'll do a video on it if you guys request that, but we shall talk about that in the future, hopefully. But back to this. This is, yep, the Lucky 1. Has a single position pocket clip, which is positioned for right hand carry, tip up only. Which, yeah, I'm left-handed, It's kind of like this where you can only do it on the right hand side with the tech tool, except you could do tip up as well. Now for this, I really would prefer to not be a pocket clip, and the thing is, when you take the pocket clip off of this, it leaves a void or the indentation where the carbon fiber is, and there's no filler tab or anything. It's not really like the way that looks either. So it's okay though. You can still put this in a pocket slip or just kind of drop it in the bottom of your pocket. I don't really find the pocket clip useful on something this small, and it's kind of built as a traditional knife anyway. And the carbon fiber on this is very, very nice. It's nice, smooth, polished out, contoured. Like this is not like a flat piece of carbon fiber like on the tech tool. And it's just extraordinary. It's really, really well done. I don't see any voids on that carbon fiber. It's just, yeah, it's really well done. And unlike the pin construction of most traditionals, this is Torx construction, so you could take this apart if you want. And there's no bolsters as well, so that's how it kind of also diverts from the typical traditional knife that we're used to seeing from Great Eastern Cutlery or Case or Queen. But it still works very well. So we have about 2 5/8 inch blade. So yeah, not a very long blade, but you know, it's about typical for one of these traditionals. It's very similar to the blade length in a number 15 again. I use the number 15 as a reference since a lot of traditional knife collectors know where that would stand. And these are saber ground blades. So you have a flat at the top, and that is, you know, it's saber ground, so it is flat, but it's a little bit different. Now that blade style, it's kind of a drop point. It's interesting. It's very unique. And they have a nail nick on this, but honestly, you can grab and pinch this open, which is not bad. You have a half stop, which is good. With the Boker Plus Tech tool, there was no half stop. It is a slip joint, but yep, no half stop. So it's nice to have that half stop. A pull on this is probably about a 5 or 6. I'd say it's not a very tough pull. And you can use a nail nick as well. It doesn't have the walk and talk of a GEC, of course, but still not bad. It works fine, and you know, one thing I will say is that the spring tension here when open is not as tough as a lot of GECs, so this does feel like it will close on you if you put too much pressure on the spine of the blade with your thumb. So I would not recommend that, because this seems a little bit more fragile, but this is not made for hard use by any means. Now, you know, Cold Steel does their thing where they stamp their names and logos in very big bold letters. So you have Lucky One on that side, and then Cold Steel, and then Italy, and CPM S35VN. And so yeah, this is out of Italy. This is not one of their, you know, Taiwanese produced knives from Cold Steel. This is out of Italy, which is really cool, because a lot of those Italian factories out there, Lion Steel, Fox Knives, they do some extraordinary work. And it's kind of unclear if they're actually all connected or not. They work out of the same factories. But either way, this was done really well. And I think that that's probably why they didn't use what they use for their normal line of knives, like the Recons, the Code 4s, the Voyagers. They used they used an Italian factory, which we're assuming is either Lion Steel or Fox Knives or one of those Italian factories out there. And I think that this is where we get that quality from, is that they really know what they're doing. So yep. Yeah, and this is really lightweight. I'm going to take the scale out in a minute. And so those carbon fiber handles there, they're pretty slick. And there's a few little finger grooves there, so it does your fingers nice and comfortably fall there when you're holding this knife. And speaking of carry options, it does fit in these collector knives pocket slips, because it's thin enough to, even with the pie clip on, so that works out. It comes with a really cheap pocket slip. This reminds me of, I don't know, these fake velvet slips that they would include in pen and with pens sometimes. Not like really expensive pens, like, but those Parkers that were, I don't know, around $10. It reminds me of like that, where like, yeah, it seems nice at first, but it just seems really cheap. So I would not recommend using it. And you don't really need to with these carbon fiber scales. So let's take a look at the weight, because this is one of the things that it really achieves. To give you a reference here, the TC Barlow comes in at 2.15 ounces, and this is going to be a lot lighter. What's it going to come in at? 0.81 ounces. Wow. It's less than half of this TC Barlow. Yeah, this feels like nothing when it's in your hand. It's hard to believe how light this is. In reference, this is going to be a lot heavier too. 2.01 ounces. So again, less than half of this Booker Tech Tool in carbon fiber. And of course, this one has stainless steel liners as well, which is contributing to the weight. So if we look inside here real quick, yeah, there's no liners. It's finished really well inside. That's something that GEC normally does very well as well. But you know, for cold steel out of this Italian factory, it was really well done. And let's see. It's flush when the back spring is flush when closed. It's a little bit proud at the half stop. And it's flush again when it open. So very well done. Really like this as a kind of hybrid knife here in between the traditional and modern, bringing you some traditional elements, but also having some modern steel and modern handle materials. And really, I just wish they wouldn't have put a pocket clip on this. That would have been even better, because I think that it would have looked even better, because I really don't feel that there's a need for a pocket clip on something like this. But yeah, it's a Cold Steel Lucky, coming out of an Italian factory with S35VN. Really cool knife. You can pick these up for what, like I think about $65, which is really great deal considering you're getting really nice finished carbon fiber, a super steel. You know, considering GECs run at the lowest with the Farm and Field of, you know, $60, but then going up to usually a lot of them are over $100 or in the 90s at least. So yeah, great value. Really neat knife. They're still available online at least a few knife retailers. I think Knife Center still has them. So guys, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments or anything. Like and subscribe for more videos, and the giveaway will be ending tonight. Or no, not tonight. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I will work on the video of announcing the winners. So as always guys, thanks for watching.